Guys, Monday, March 7th, we have a full moon happening in the sign of Sidereal, Leo, in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, which is a nakshatra that deals with rest, relaxation, love, romance, creation. Happening right opposite the sun, like always, in Aquarius. So what does this mean for everyone, and what will the full moon in Leo bring us all? So this full moon is really special because not only is Saturn, Mercury, and Sun going to be opposite this beautiful placement of the moon in such a sensual position, but Saturn being right opposite of it means that we are going to experience some kind of completion, revelation of the last 6 months of hard work. Think about what was happening in your life, end of August, beginning of September, where you have been working very hard in your life, Saturn opposite moon. And this area of life is going to be extremely illuminated, and it's going to have a sense of completion, of illumination, of revelation in this area of life. But not only that, but Saturn being opposite moon is really making us realize that the things in our life that we need to complete, that we need to reveal, that we need to end that chapter of our lives is truly something that is happening for in a logical and tangible form. We don't have any kind of ego-based desires or any kind of stopping from leading chapters in our lives wherever Leo is placed in your chart. However, Saturn being opposite this full moon also brings a sense of realism or having to become very responsible or it puts a little bit of a damp or a little bit of melancholy on our own emotional well-being. Full moons are always filled with emotions. They're completion, right? When we are completing something, we have to end it. We have to close that chapter. We have to let go. So that's full moons are always an emotional time, no matter where where it's placed in our chart. However, with Saturn being right opposite of it, means that this emotion, this completion is occupied with a sense of having to become responsible for this thing or having to suppress a little bit our emotions in order to be more grounded, in order to be more present, in order to do what's logical instead of what are not allowing ourselves to be guided by our emotions and instead realizing that we have to do what's right. And this feeling can be a bit sobering because when you want to just bask in your emotions, Saturn is there telling you, no, get back to work, get back to real life. So there's going to be this sense of wanting to feel free or wanting to create or wanting to spend time with friends or wanting to devote yourself to love. And then on the other side, there's going to be this feeling of needing to be responsible or needing to be grounded or needing to be rational about it. So it can feel a bit confusing, a bit uncomfortable, but full moons are always a time of revelations, of endings. And I don't mean endings as in things are gonna go away in your life. No, it's just an ending to this chapter in your life. And now you begin a new one with new rules, with new characters, with new things that you're working on. We're always working on something that never ends. This is about this human experience. Now, another interesting thing is that we have Jupiter and Venus together in the sign of Pisces with Neptune. So Jupiter and Venus being exalted and Jupiter being in its own sign, is eighth placements from moon, which means that not only will this full moon bring us a sense of completion, but there's always also going to be an element of transformation and expansion to this transformation that happens along with the energy of the full moon. So it's like a closing of the chapter that's coming in with a sense of transformation and spirituality, where you're going to see the spiritual answer more than the tangible answer to things or revelations that are going to come to you that are going to transform you in a spiritual sense that you might not see clearly at first with Neptune being there. But yeah, let's get started. What does this mean for all the signs? Aries, rising and moons. The full moon is happening in your fifth house of love, romance, creativity, children, which means that you're closing off a chapter that began back in September, August, in regards to your love life, your happiness. There could be a wish fulfillment that's very grounded in how hard you have been working for it. That happens around the full moon, some kind of revelation. Some of you can even now, maybe you went through a breakup back in September and now you're realizing that, okay, I'm finally past this. I'm finally over this. I'm finally ready to move on with the full moon. Or it can be the case that you've ended some friendships or you've started new friendships and now you're feeling more comfortable, or you started a new relationship and now is the time when you finally feel like I feel comfortable enough in this partnership. This is the partnership for me, or I'm ready to take on the next steps in this partnership. Also, it's a great time to get more creative. Maybe you're starting a new business and now you're feeling like things are finally aligned, or you're ending some kind of business venture. Could also be dealing with school, teaching, your own heart, your own sense of happiness. And possibly at this time, you might want to just like go out with friends or spend some time with friends. Off to the next sign, which is Taurus. Taurus rising, the full moon is happening over your fourth house of home, comforts, happiness, and looking right opposite the sun and Saturn and Mercury in your 10th house of career. So this can be a time of completion in terms of your home life, feeling more comfortable at home, feeling happier at home, or even some of you relocating, or maybe you relocated 6 months ago and now you're finally feeling like things are finally feeling more homey, or feeling more aligned with who you are, with your core of your happiness. This is also a time when you're going to want to feel more comfortable or want to find what makes you happy within the confinement of your home, of your own inner self. You are the happiest or the most creative when you are able to create in an environment that feels like home for you. And opposite of the full moon will be Saturn in the 10th house, which means that although you're feeling more at home, and although that you're closing off a chapter in your happiness, your home life, you're also feeling a bit conflicted with work, where work is requiring a lot more energy from you. And now you're learning how to balance the two energies. But yeah, the comforts of your heart, of your home, of your happiness, you are finally feeling like I can see the light again, or I can finally I have reached the point that I wanted to reach, and I am feeling a lot happier. I am feeling a lot more energized at home, or maybe even feeling like renovating some things, like switching around things, like finding your core, finding your happiness when it comes to your home life. This is also a good time when you might express your feelings to others, or you might feel like comforting yourself through sensual enjoyments, especially in your home life, and sensual enjoyments in your career. But yeah, this can also mean a new career path or an increase in career if that's what you manifested for 6 months ago, if that's what you've been working on. Think about what you have been working on since end of August, September. And this is the area of life that's coming to a closure, is coming to fruition for you. Off to the next sign, which is Gemini. Gemini rising and this full moon is happening in your third house of strength, willpower, communication, business, uh, encouragement, how you find your own inner strength. And so this means that there's a chapter that's closing for you in this area of life. It could pertain to your own sense of courage, your own sense of your willpower, your strength, that began back in end of August, beginning of September, with the new moon that happened in this area. So you have been working hard. This could also be pertaining to your work life, to your immediate connections. This could also be pertaining to your wish fulfillment, or even if you work with foreigners, this could be part of it as well. So there's a closure to a chapter that began back then that you've been working really hard towards. And now you're finally feeling like I can see clearly, and things have aligned. from the past 6 months and I've come so this far. Your willpower will be a lot more pronounced and a lot more increased around the full moon. And you're going to feel as if whatever I haven't completed up until now, I have the strength and I have the courage to do so now. Saturn in your ninth house is also fulfilling wishes for you, especially being in the sign of Aquarius. It's fulfilling the wishes and manifestations for you that of the hard work that you experienced the last 3 years with Saturn in your eighth house of transformations. Saturn in the ninth house with Mercury and Sun, you're wanting to exchange, to communicate, to be very disciplined within your wishes so that they can be fulfilled. The full moon is a time when those wishes can be fulfilled for you, and closing off of whatever wasn't working prior to that. Saturn being there is bringing a sense of realism to the full moon, of making you feel like I have the willpower, I have the strength, I have the courage to close off this chapter already, and all of the things that I've been working hard on have been aligned with me, and I can now finally say that they have come to fruition. And then Saturn is holding it down there for you so that those things can remain in your life even after the closure of this chapter. So think back at your life. What have you been working hard for? Saturn there in the ninth house will give you the wish fulfillment, and whatever has happened up until now, that chapter is now closed with the full moon. So this is a good time to spend time with friends, to spend time doing your creative work, to spend time exercising your courage, communicating with others, expressing yourself creatively or in your line of work. Now we're off to the next sign, which is Virgo, which is Cancer. Moons. So this full moon is happening in your second house of stability, finances, family life. So there's a completion to a cycle that began for you 6 months prior, around August, that sort of began this need for you to find stability within your family, within your sense of self, beauty within yourself, feeling more comfortable in who you are. And now you're reflecting, and this is sort of coming to a closure where you're feeling a lot more in tune with your family, a lot more in tune with your own stability, with your own sense of caring for yourself, like self-care. This is a good time for that. It's also a time when you might be feeling like you want to work on, oh, 1 second, where your value systems have also shifted, and you're finding more value in your having stability within your sense of self, your finances. Maybe even some of you could have made an intention to become more financially aware or more stable within your family life and within your finances. Now this is coming to a culmination where you can see some kind of fruits of your or manifestation happen, or it can also be the case where you feel satisfied, where you feel like you have reached or you have checked off that box of feeling more stable in your life after a major transformation that you had been experiencing prior to that. So through this transformation, now you're feeling more stable, and now you've come to a point of culmination in that area. So we're off to the next sign, which is Virgo. Leo rising and moons. This full moon is happening over your first house, over your entire life, your sense of self. So you're coming to a point of culmination to everything in your life. You're sort of feeling like you're closing a chapter in your life, and you're more self-aware and focus more on your sense of self and on yourself and what you need out of your immediate environment in order to feel safe, in order to feel good about yourself. So being that this chapter is closing off on your own first house, Leos are already all about themselves. So this is extra culminating in that aspect, because Saturn in your seventh house is sort of like pulling you towards you're moving forward towards your partnership and towards your business and towards the outer world, versus the full moon is closing off a chapter in your life that could have dealt with these things, but mostly you have become a lot more self-aware and a lot more in tune with your own needs and your own happiness as it pertains to your entire life. This can also be a time when you feel a little bit emotional, or where you might feel like things are coming to fruition, or you feel like you have reached a point of realization to some extent. So there could be some realizations and some aha moments that come to you during this full moon about yourself and about your life and about your partnerships and about just every area of your life, but mainly your sense of self, what you need, what you want, how you want it, and your partnerships and the outside world. Now we're off to the next sign, which is Virgo. Also, this is to go back to the Leos. Also, this is the time of like rest, relaxation, indulgence. The full moon is happening over the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, which deals with love and relaxation and friendships and devotion. So it's a time that can be extra creative and enlightening for you. Okay, Virgo rising and moons. This full moon is happening over your 12th house, which can be a little bit heavy because it's almost as if there's a closure to a chapter that began 6 months ago, but mostly there's a reflection. It's a time of a lot of reflection on where you are, how far you've come in the last 6 months. And really, if you don't feel like you have reached that internal milestone that you feel satisfied with, it can be a time that it's quite emotional or is quite draining, or you feel like you just want to be inward and the world is sort of pulling you outward, but you just want to feel yourself, like feel your feelings. And it's okay to like let go and relax and just like be in your own feelings at this time, because it can be a little bit heavy. It can be a little bit heavy, a little bit draining emotionally. It's also a good time to reflect on what it is that you want moving forward and how far you've come, and now what you need to do to get to where you want to go moving forward, because it's a time when a lot of things, you're like shedding your skin. It's a time of a lot of shedding, of a lot of releasing, of a lot of letting go. A lot of like your mind can be very heavy right now with a lot of thoughts running through it. That's okay. Just make sure that you also allow time to rest, because it's very important to just realize that some things have happened because they have happened, how they have happened, and now it's time to just let them go. And prepare yourself, because next month it will be all about you, and the full moon will be happening in your first house. But for now, just rest, relax, shed, cry. I would say like indulge a little bit, because the full moon is happening over the nakshatra Purva Falguni, which deals with indulging your senses in the arts and immersing yourself in creative outlets. So creative endeavors, or like outputting creatively, can be very, very healing for you at this time. So I highly suggest that, and just let go. Up to the next sign, which is Libra. Libra rising our moons. This full moon is happening over your 11th house of friendships, institutions, manifestations, which means that there's a culmination of a cycle in romance, creativity, in an institution even, or with your friendships is coming to an end. So you're realizing there could be some renovations at this time in terms of your friendships, your love interests, your love life, or there can also be some kind of feeling like settled, as if everything that has happened in the last 6 months has finally reached a point of you feeling okay, or you feeling settled with the outcomes. And this could be in terms of, or even some kind of gain or manifestation that you have been working really hard for. If it dealt with like creativity, if it dealt with like romance, if it dealt with creating something like a new job, a new endeavor that you took on, or if you work for an institution, this can even mean a promotion for some of you. But really, this full moon is culminating a cycle in your relationships to your to people in general, to others, where you can now feel like everything that has happened is for a reason, and I can let it go, and I can now begin this new chapter. So check to see what was happening in your life around August. See if any of those manifestations have occurred already. And if they happen, I mean, it could happen now in the next 2 days as this energy subsides and reaches its height, uh, or it could have already happened. So think back at your life, but this is in terms of your games through others and the people in your life, also your romantic partnerships, and also your creative and your heart. Like it's a good time to just relax, enjoy yourself with friends, devote yourself to your friendships, devote yourself to your if you have children, to your children, devote yourself to your romantic partners. It's a time of devotion, relaxation, and just like releasing and letting go and enjoying the time, relaxing and enjoying the time, or like enjoying the fruits of your labors for the past 6 months. So this can mean a revelation, this can mean a manifestation, or this can mean just closing a chapter. Up to the next sign, which is Scorpio. Scorpio rising and moons. The full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, with Saturn in your 4th house looking right at it. So this full moon is completing a cycle for you that began back in August, that dealt with your own sense of happiness and your career life. So this could mean a culmination to a chapter in career. This could mean a culmination or even like a sudden realization, an aha moment, or some kind of a promotion if some of you were manifesting that back in August, or just like feeling a lot more settled within your career life, within your home life, within your own stability and sense of self. But this full moon is happening in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, which means like enjoying the fruits of your labor. So now is a good time to just sit back and relax and allow whatever is going to culminate, whatever is going to come to you at this time to do so. So if it was a promotion or if it was a new job, now you can either feel very settled in it or you can feel like uh, the chips are starting to fall into place kind of feeling. And it can also be a feeling of accomplishment. So enjoy this time, close this chapter, and yeah, this should be a really good full moon for you guys. Off to the next sign, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius, rising and moons. This full moon is happening in your 9th house of spirituality, higher education, belief systems, and even luck. So this could be a time when you're closing off a chapter from August that dealt with your beliefs, how you view the world around you, how you navigate the world around you, how you communicate to others in the world around you. Also, this chapter is coming to a closure that dealt with your higher power and how you are able to learn around about the world around you and then relate to it and communicate about it. So Saturn sitting in your 3rd house has been could make you feel as if you are unable to communicate the thoughts that are your higher belief, like you're not wanting to talk about things that don't make sense. You're not wanting to talk, to have small chatter. So you're releasing a lot of friendships. You're releasing a lot of people that don't belong in your life, that don't add higher value to your life. So this is a good time for you to think about the last 6 months and how you have learned about yourself and how you have integrated these new beliefs that you have acquired in the last 6 months and how you're relating it to others. Now, this can also mean that maybe you're spending more time with your father or maybe father figures, or maybe you've decided that you want to go travel at this time. Some of you could be traveling, some of you could be learning something, or you could have started learning something 6 months ago and now you're finally feeling like, oh, I get it now, or I have learned that now. I feel like now I feel prepared in that subject, or now I feel prepared to show the world everything that I have been working on or everything that I have been learning. Regardless, this is a full moon that's completing a cycle for you in terms of how you relate to the world, how you believe about the world, and your value system. We're off to the next sign, which is Capricorn. Capricorn rising and moons. This full moon is happening over your 8th house of secrets and transformation, which means that you're coming to a culmination or to an ending of a transformation that you had to endure the past 6 months. So think about what was happening in your life back in August, because now you're feeling like more settled in this transformation or in this thing that happened 6 months ago. So you're feeling like you're closing that chapter and you're walking into a new chapter more settled. So this can even mean that there's some kind of revelation that now comes to you, or secrets that can come to the surface now that you really needed in order to put that situation that happened six months ago to rest. So anything that had been unfolding, you're now feeling like you're closing off, or that it came to the surface, or now you're feeling like, okay, all of that happened, it happened for a reason. I needed it in order for me to now feel the stability that I'm feeling within myself now. And now closing off that chapter and beginning a brand new chapter in your own sense of stability with Saturn being in your second house. You're learning new ways to be more disciplined and feel more secure in your life. Now we're off to the next sign, which is Aquarius. Aquarius, rising and moons. This full moon is happening in your seventh house of partnerships, which means that the full moon is culminating a cycle that began for you 6 months ago in August with the new moon that happened in the same area. So what this means for you is that 6 months ago, you could have set the intention, or you could have maybe started a new relationship, ended a relationship, whatever the case might have been. But 6 months ago, there was some kind of relationship or something around relationships that could have occurred, and now you have slowly but surely been building up on it, and now you're feeling like either more settled within the partnership, or feeling more secure, or feeling more secure within yourself if you went through a breakup, or now having the clarity that you need in terms of relationships. So possibly 6 months ago you decided that you wanted to put yourself out there at some point, and now you're feeling like, oh, I'm ready now to finally work on my partnerships, or to end that previous cycle of the breakup, or to end that previous cycle of getting to know someone. Now I feel more secure within the relationship and how it has unfolded. Because really, you are Saturn in your first house with Mercury and Sun. You're really working on yourself right now. You're really working on becoming more stable within yourself, rearranging everything in your life, and really becoming more secure and restructuring your own sense of self in general. So this full moon happening in your seventh house is really solidifying other people in your life and solidifying how you reflect outwardly to others, and what you need out of your relationships with others to feel more secure within your own sense of self. Now we're off to the next sign, the last sign, which is Pisces. Pisces, rising and moons. This full moon is happening over your sixth house of routine, work, everyday life. So the full moon is really highlighting or illuminating and culminating something that began for you back 6 months ago, back in August. So think about what was happening in your life back in August in terms of your routine, everyday life, work life, and now that chapter is coming to a closure. So this can mean for you that you are feeling more stable within your work life, or you're feeling like a chapter is closing in your work life. Maybe you started a new job 6 months ago and now you're feeling more secure in it, or maybe you were looking for a job and you got one, and now you're feeling like you're starting this new chapter up, this new position that you have. Or it can also be the case where you're feeling like your routine and your everyday life is more aligned now than it was 6 months ago. So think back on your life 6 months ago, see what was unfolding. Now you're closing off that chapter, and there could be some kind of like aha moment, or some kind of like revelation, or manifestation that comes to you in your everyday life, and within your routine, within your health, within your work environment, that unfolds now. And we're done. I hope you guys have a beautiful and relaxing full moon in Leo. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this reading. Bye.